Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties. If you would, please stand, those in the audience, and pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, and welcome, everybody.
One, I apologize for not being there. So
we understand.
Well, you're with us through Zoom. That's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, do I hear an approval of the agenda or anything? This is going to be the public hearing. Sorry, this is the public hearing to discuss the proposed draft budget and hearing public testimony. So, Leanne, would you like to lead off with any notes or comments first?
No, I think we've worked really hard on the budget. It was Erin's first time a go around, so it took her a little bit, but we're pretty balanced.
Yeah, and I want to thank Ken Van Busker for helping out.
He is so helped. Oh my gosh, all of the community. Yeah. Jeff helped. Yeah, everybody helped.
Yeah, it's been great, and I appreciate everybody pitching in there. So the document that I have in hand here is the 2024 budget, and that is this document, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're ahead $900 and something, but we're supposed to be balanced as far as the county goes. So we'll be fine there.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, we're going to continue to work on shaving things off. So we've got some work to do there.
Yes.
Yeah, that we can.
Yeah, we have some changes.
Yes.
Okay, so do we need to approve the agenda first?
No, we don't.
Okay.
No, right. It's a public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So anybody that wants to,
you qualified that.
and I can read Ken's comments. He's in surgery right now. So.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, let's see if Ted has anything first that he'd like to say, and then go ahead and read Ken's comments, and then we'll take other comments from everybody.
Well, what I'd like to do is maybe at the next January meeting is pass a resolution that all county commissioners, or excuse me, commissioners, board commissioners cap our fees that are what we're doing at $3,000. If you remember when Larry used to do the budget, we had each board commissioner capped at I think it was $3,559, but I like to cap it at $3,000. So I don't think that we need to stay away from our obligations. I was reading some of the stuff that Ken submitted, and I could tell you I do 7 or 8 meetings a month, and with PR, TPO, and Judy, that is a lot of work, and that's a great staff, wonderful staff, and I think we need to be on there, but I would like to cap it at 3,000. So if we could do a resolution, maybe next year, January, whenever our meeting is, and we could just do a resolution to cap it at 3,000, and I'm more than happy to attend all the meetings I can, but at the same time, let's just cap it.
I agree with you. The proof's in the pudding, and we need to be setting an example. We're going to be shaving things down to make 2024 work. I'm totally in agreement with that, with no further discussion on my end.
Okay.
I thought that it was reflected in our 24 budget. Is it not?
We were doing 3 meetings a month.
Okay.
Is the last I had heard. So.
And that's less than 3. That was about 3,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because before
it's $128 a meeting.
Oh, okay.
So if we cap it at 3, that's going to be
600 and some change.
Probably 2.5 meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the year.
So I thought that was
A month.
reflected in there.
Yeah.
And then I also thought that us three commissioners can decide who goes to conferences and who's not. So
Yeah, we could
we'll
meet.
we'll do that next year at the January meeting. I think that's something that Leanne could put on the agenda, is that we discuss who goes to what conference and who's going to benefit. I saw some comment. It was absolutely worthless that these things are not good for the commissioners. I know all three of us learn a lot from those conferences, and I thought that was a total waste of space on a text message. So uh, we all learn a lot, and I learn a lot.
You'll hear it.
As a new commissioner, I've learned a ton in a short time, talking to other commissioners I would not otherwise have had that opportunity from other ports and other executive directors, not to mention some of the presentations that, you know, anyway, I agree with you. So we'll figure that out. And I agree in January, we should put that on the agenda and move forward with that in a positive way.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I think for sure we can cut back on the training. The commissioners need to go to the commissioner seminars, because you do.
Yeah.
I might need to go to the executive director. I usually do the finance. But the annual, the spring meeting, they cost.
It costs a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Well, it's wonderful to
Network,
yeah,
lots of networking,
yeah.
and which is critical. For this.
Which that gets us a lot of our funding.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to need to visit that. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think capping it at 3,000 is fine.
Yeah.
And I was hoping, I don't see it, you know, it's not in this budget that I got here. This is pretty.
Well,
Yeah, no, the last one that we got had that $3,500 or $35,000 error.
13,500.
Okay, 13,500
Yeah.
error. Correct. Yeah, that's the last one we got.
Okay. Well, go ahead and read Ken's, and then we'll
Okay.
take other public comment.
Yeah.
Well, point of
Yeah.
order.
Or does Brad want to read it?
Well, in due respect for Mr. Van Buskirk, he asked me to read this in. If I could make
Yes,
the
please.
meeting, I'm here. Thank you.
Oh,
Sure,
yeah,
that's fine.
we got you.
Okay.
That's fine. Go ahead, Brad.
I've been absent a few port meetings for a while, but Ken Van Buskirk talked to me about the budget a little bit. And in regards to this budget hearing, these are the public comments and opinions that Mr. Van Buskirk would like me to read into the meeting. So with that, I'll get started. The Port of Allyn Budget Public Hearing, December 4th, 2023. It's from Ken Van Buskirk in Belfair. This is Ken writing. I watched all three of the draft budget special meetings and would like to offer the following comments. In my opinion, dealing with the water system purchase and the sale agreement and the budget should have been separate meetings. The budget meetings were extremely hard to follow with poor acoustics and people talking at the same time. The commissioners and staff bounced all over different line items and pages rather than line by line, which further complicated the situation. In future meetings, I would suggest holding the meetings downstairs and in a more organized fashion. Okay, regarding revenue, property taxes. Mason County Assessor recent property assessments have shot up dramatically this year. Other than grants, property taxes are the port's largest source of revenue. As elected officials, you are expected to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money. Okay, regarding grants, proceeds, Sweetwater Park. In my opinion, grant proceeds are not a good way to have a sustainable budget. There are long-term obligations and restrictions with most grants that often get overlooked or ignored. At one of the budget meetings on November 20th, there was a very brief commissioner comment about the Sweetwater Park grant, but I have not heard any further discussion, and I would encourage the port to proceed with efforts to surplus the property as I recommended and remove the grant from budget documents. Expenses, human resources, meetings, stipends. There was commissioner discussion at one of the draft budget special meetings about a reduction to the 3,000 max per commissioner per year for meetings. Last year, the port had 12 regular meetings, 15 special meetings, which by themselves would exceed that $3,000 amount. I had a dollar in there, okay? And not allow commissioners to attend other meetings unless they didn't take a stipend. If an elected commissioner does not want to receive a meeting stipend, it is not required. Neither the local school board nor the Cemetery District 1 commissioners receive meeting stipends. Either way, I agree with Commissioner Jackson that it is required that you adopt by resolution. Human Resources Executive Director search and salary. The Executive Director's salary has been the largest percentage of the human resource budget for the last several years. I suggest that you consider budgeting money for a search and limit the salary to $60,000 to $70,000 per year. This item should be one of your highest priorities. Those are dollars, by the way. Okay. Next, travel, meeting, and conference fees. I would suggest that the port, let me read this again. I would suggest that the port can do a better job and make further reductions in these areas. This is a waste of money and will not be necessary until an executive director is hired. Professional and technology services, legal services. At the November 27th budget meeting, there was one commissioner discussion within the interim executive director, or I should say with the interim executive director, about not going down the same trail with Brad Carey again. Oh, I'm in here. I would suggest that the port put something in the budget to cover the cost of mediation per the settlement agreement. By the way, guys, I haven't read this yet, so okay. All right, professional and technology services lobbyist. Removal from the budget for this year and reconsider after you hire an executive director. The Port of Allyn has 2 state representatives that live in the Port of Allyn district boundaries. In my opinion, they and you, commissioners, are the taxpayers' lobbyists and advocates. We don't need another lobbyist. The Port of Allyn is also a member of the larger Washington Ports Association, who has lobbyists as well. Administrative cell phones. Do the port commissioners really need cell phones? I checked with other elected local organizations, including the Belfair Water District, North Mason School District, North Mason Regional Fire Authority, Hospital District 1, and Cemetery District 1, and none of those organizations provide cell phones for their directors. Please eliminate this unnecessary expense. Administrative, website, hosting, and maintenance. There is the appearance of a potential conflict of interest with RCW 42.23. I would suggest you seek interested applicants with a local small works roster before renewing the website hosting and maintenance agreement, or make it part of the port employees' duties. Administrative membership dues and subscriptions. The only reason the port is involved with the Kitsap Building Association, KBA, is that the former executive director and his wife are both directors of the association. Is It is not a proper place by statute to hold a meeting of the Port of Allyn in which you did. Please discontinue this membership. What other memberships are absolutely necessary? Question mark. Administrative accounting support. I would suggest you budget more in this account until the new executive director is selected. Operations and maintenance, Allyn Waterfront Park. There were questions asked about the highway lighting and in budget discussions. If the project was completed with grant monies, the grant would have specific guidelines and obligation requirements that need to be followed. Suggest you research grant or contract for these guidelines and obligations. He might have meant to say for or contract. Oh, he meant that. I'll repeat that again. Suggest you research grant or contract for these guidelines and obligations. In the first initial draft budget, I pointed out a misprint of $20,000 in the expense accounting to Miss Dennis. She acknowledged and corrected. Operations and maintenance, North Shore Marina. On Friday, December 1st, I met with Miss Dennis in person and showed her another $13,000 error in expense accounting for the North Shore Marina. I would suggest that the final budget be proofed before approval. Capital project, Sweetwater Park. Well, there's nothing in the proposed budget for 2024. This item needs to be removed as a placeholder. The port has invested money for 2 arborist reports, a boundary survey, cameras, signage, 20+ ecology blocks, and legal fees regarding trespass. There was also removal of a large willow tree that benefited the HCSEG. I think that's the Hood Canal Salmon something. All right. This gives the appearance of the gifting of public funds. There is a large debris pile that remains on the Hood, on the HCSEG property and is getting soaked in the rain. Surplus this property and be done with it. All right. Port of Allyn water system, revenue and expenses. I appreciate the separation of the general fund account and the water system account. This has been a long time coming. Thank you, Ken Van Busker. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have other public comment? Brad, yes. We have about 10 minutes left. We have about 10 minutes left before we have to start the other meeting.
Well, you're in good luck. I don't have much to say. So I'm not familiar with the port's budget. I've been absent for about 12 months. But I happen to agree with most of what Mr. Ken Van Busker has put in his report. I do think, as you guys know, with regard to the port getting into the water business, it's been a while since I've had my head in that area, but I think it's very, very important that the port keep its books, those 2 accounts, separate. We do that out here at Shorebrook Water Systems, where the Shorebrook community has a community club. We have a park, a dock, boat ramp, what have you, similar to like what the Port of Allyn has. But then we've also got our water system. And the revenue that comes in on the water system has to be kept separate from the park maintenance fund. I think Maggie Lake up there where we own property has the same situation as well. Commingling of funds is never a good idea because then you end up commingling the income and the expenses and it becomes an accounting nightmare. So also, we open up a special meeting for just our water ratepayers when we have our monthly meetings and our annual meetings. So I'm not sure if the port has been setting aside a special meeting where the ratepayers get to have a voice and come and talk about their water utility service rates and what have you. So just a suggestion to the Port of Allyn that you may be required by law to even have this, I don't know, but set yourself up to where you advertise to your ratepayers to come in and provide public comment to a ratepayer meeting. if that makes any sense and if it's required.
It
Other than
does.
that, it's good. It's good to see all of you guys again. I'll be back soon. I'm just trying to get some. Hey, good to see you smiling, Ted. Do you guys have any questions?
I'm trying to
No,
smile.
thank you.
Do you guys have any questions for me?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you mind if I sign off?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Good night, guys.
Thank you for your comment.
Good night, Brad.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very
You're
much.
welcome.
No, actually, I
Okay,
have
and
just
who
a
is,
section just for the water.
yeah,
That-
And who is
that-
next?
That's a good idea.
I don't see any hand raised. Phil, no comment?
Can I, one quick, I have my neighbor right next to me, Dale Cummings. He's less than 100 feet. I like to welcome Dale to our meeting. He's been a longtime Allyn resident. Him and his wife have been true friends of our family. So I just like to welcome Dale.
Welcome, Dale. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, public comment. Yes, Jeff.
So you want to sit there?
Yeah.
And you got the heater, so.
You'll be nice.
Oh, come on, Jeff. You're sitting in my chair. Come on.
I'm sitting offset.
All right. You're free.
Here,
Mine is
here.
That's a good one.
Hey, you get a present too, Ted.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not there. So
Okay,
Oh,
nitty gritty is that, a couple things. One is, I know where the port's budget's come over the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think passing it because it's balanced is okay, but I do think that the board needs to work at looking at funds long-term and planning long-term. And I think while we don't have the staff we had, we have more, but we have less. Different parties are no longer here. So, for example, I think the board should minimally, at least quarterly, instead of doing this budget, like once a year, at least have a review in a public meeting about where we are, at least quarterly for this year at least, till we shake out the kinks.
Yeah, I agree. I recommend that.
Yeah.
Totally.
On a longer term, because I've been involved with in my work years ago. I was in a lot of budget forecasting in services, and so we forecast when machines would repair and when they go down, and budget all kinds of things, unknowns, a lot of unknowns. I've been budgeting years ago with the Allyn Community Association, both in good times and bad times when the budget wasn't there. I participated with the county in 2018 or 19 with their Citizens Advisory Committee to budget. So I have a little, well, accounting is not my top 10. I've been involved in community and county, different organizations about budgeting. And I have been involved with the sewer North Bay Case Inlet. And in 2014 or 15, somewhere there, it got pulled in a little bit on a Belfair thing. So the recommendations, I've worked these kind of problems before, so it's like, it's like, obviously when the budget's not balancing, it's always something you gotta work out. But I don't see it, I see it as a process to go through because it will help plan and help direct us where we focus on our different projects for the board. With the nitty gritty, so that's my generic statement of strategically what I think we should do. If the board feels like at some point too, we should look at this and say, how do we look several years out into the future so we get ahead of this curve?
Yeah.
More than just year to year.
Right.
And I'm not saying you nail it down and that's eyebrow, but you get it to a point, at least you kind of know that you're in the ballpark, and so we don't have some of the surprises we had like this.
Yes.
So then particular questions, and I don't expect you to necessarily answer these, but I'm gonna cover them so they can at least be looked at maybe at a later date and what have you. I'm assuming because last year we showed some graph things like for the Oyster House, but none of that's happening this year, question mark, because you're not showing any for this year for revenues, like for
Not for revenues, but we already got.
I was gonna say, Aaron kept the grant stuff out because that's reimbursements. So it's in and out. So she didn't want to put it in the budget.
My opinion, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying that obviously budget reports, okay?
Yeah.
But my opinion is, if whatever the policy is of how you're gonna work the finances, keep it consistent.
Yeah.
Meaning if we're gonna do it over here on this project, then we do it over here on this project.
Sure.
And it looked like to me, at least like on the water, you were taking some of the things, my opinions from another meeting and putting it in as far as the grants, and then taking it, showing it going out for the expense.
It's a good point.
And that's what it should be, but.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
oyster house.
It's in and out.
Yeah.
So we should address that. If there's
Yeah.
in and out, then there's in and out.
Right.
And I know you're running out of time here, but keep it.
Yeah, I've got
Um, So under the legal and electoral, let's see, what I want to do is election. I see in 2000 or this year, you're showing around 6 and then the other about 7,000. I don't see any.
Under what? Sorry.
Election.
election, because we're required, I don't know.
We do, we pay every year.
And what did we pay last year? I didn't recall that one.
We had Ted on the ballot
Yeah,
last year,
right.
so it should have been more. But we pay usually at least 5,000.
So it would be this year, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yes.
Yes, so that costs, yeah.
I'm just saying that looking at things, it doesn't look like it's in there the right way. So
And we should probably budget for that.
Yeah.
So we need to add that.
Okay.
How much you know how much it was for Ted?
I don't.
And you got it now, it's split over.
Now
Correct,
Yeah.
that's correct.
we'll figure that.
It's at least 5,000.
And I'm not trying to,
Whether somebody's on the
It's a
ballot.
good point, Jeff.
I'm not trying to give the exact number here, but just say
Yeah.
conceptually, okay, if you adopt the budget tonight, you have some of these missing things. I see somewhere, whether it's January or February,
Right.
making amendments to the budget.
Yes.
Correct.
So
Figure
I don't, as far as process, I don't see it a big deal, but I think it needs to be addressed. When we get into the legal service, well, let's go to professional services and engineering. I'm assuming, because I can't tell, that when it's in the general, it's related to the oyster house and to things of that nature.
General fund.
Yeah, well, the
Okay,
oyster house.
but where I'm going to just go.
Okay.
But in the water system, okay, so we had this general policy that the court came up with the 15%. But I can tell you that 15% is not going to cut it for your engineering and professional services for water.
No, we've spent a lot more.
No, okay, but I'm not talking about the past.
Yeah.
I'm talking going forward for your budget for 2024.
Okay.
What I mean by that is that, as an example, you're going with one firm or another, whether it's Northwest Water or some other company, whatever, you're going to have to submit a new plan for the acquisition of our system.
That's correct.
If we do this right, we're going to have to submit an update to also if we do the booster or line extensions.
Yeah.
And I believe that we're probably going to, I know I'm going to have a cost personally. And I would think the port would have a cost personally with the port.
Yeah.
Dealing with, what did I say, the line, the extension agreement. I found one with West Sound Utilities. There was a, 15-page document. I don't think the port needs all that.
Right.
But the port has policies in its manual for line extension for third parties. Okay. Yeah, I read through that in the process of figuring out all these different things that we did last week.
Yeah, kind of that.
Okay. Bottom line, need to add something there.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, it should be a good budget. If we do a proposed budget, we'll make.
We need a little more.
We'll be
on the
adjusting.
water side.
Yeah, we'll be making
We're getting
adjustments
there.
for sure.
Okay, one. You mentioned that insurance was going up, but I didn't see it go up.
Well, we're not.
Went up from 37.
Okay.
37,000 last year to 44 this year.
But it didn't look like between the two, unless I missed something.
Yeah. It's not in the water.
Huh?
It's not in the water, but
Well, there is some, but it's not, it doesn't come up to
Okay.
44.
I get
There's,
that.
there's
Yeah.
some, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, okay, now I'm gonna switch to the water side of the budget. When you have a number at the beginning here, is this your beginning of year or end of year, like the top of your page 3? This one number here,
When you're looking at that
What
one.
did she have? Year to date?
year to date,
And
is that number for the budget gonna be what you predict the court's gonna have at end of year or beginning of the year? The reason I'm asking is this, not to get fancy about it, is first of all, the 24 is, 130 less. And I can't, right, again, this gets into the issue of trying to reconcile the budgets from your beginning of year, what you take in a year, and what you spend a year, and then what you end up at the end of the year.
well, we also have the 4 months, January to April, where we actually get our taxes.
Right, but this and the water won't be an issue. Because it's, generally speaking, there's no, that's out of different fund.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just saying, again, I'm not asking for an answer, I'm just saying, here's an issue I see trying to reconcile these out.
Okay.
And then I'll wrap this up real quick. I took a little time and looked at what's happening with the number of connections and what your billing will be.
Yeah.
Okay, and assuming, working with the thought process that if we're going to include the 50,000 or 500,000 related to grants and loans, and it goes out, that you would, again, remember, budget doesn't necessarily mean this is gonna be exactly the number you're gonna get, but it's trying to plan.
Right.
I'm saying, when I looked at it, I have a cheat sheet. Oh,
So grant and, but it should be separate, grant and revenue should be separate.
yeah, but it's not where I'm going.
Okay.
Not where I'm going to
Oh,
cheat sheet. You'll have, forgetting the system requiring from me, you'll have 54 to 55 connections, okay? With your 2024 rates and looking at what people are using for water, looking at my system, what they're using, and there's many of the customers are same type of houses and what have you. So, and backing the number off even a little bit lower, meaning they'll use less water, which is not necessarily true.
Right.
Minimally, you're gonna be 86 a month per user. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you're at 86, it's at 86.6. With the 54 users you currently have, that's 56.1K there. With the 21-22 that you're picking up off of our system, that's gonna be another 22.8. Then there's a variable. Okay, and that is how fast kids have housing comes online. Because I would have thought that they have a different way of building, and I'm not sure if this is going to come up in this year, but somewhere at the low end, maybe 1K, maybe only one gets built. But they're building like 8 at a time. I just don't know how fast they're going to come online. But somewhere between 12.4K to 1K. I mean, it depends how fast they come out. None of this includes anything with the memory care.
Yeah,
Okay, so there's
I
that.
think that's true. Right.
Yeah, right. No, I know that. I mean, I'm stating that in my number. So what I'm getting at is there's about 70, at least 78, almost 80K in revenues for your month-to-month water service.
we put in there 50.
50.
Yeah.
So I'm just,
That's right, we did talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I know this is.
underestimate.
Underestimate the revenues,
And
overestimate
overestimate
the expenses.
Exactly.
Well, we've underestimated some expenses too.
We know that.
We do kind of have to wrap this up, Jeff.
Okay,
6 minutes.
let me sum it up one last thing.
People, please come
Yes.
in. Yes.
No, I am happy to work as part of that
Oh,
program
yes.
with to assist, to get some things straightened out. And I'll make the
I
other.
think we do need to, again, I think this will be a living document anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Budget as a basis,
We have to
Yes,
we do
approve
need
it
to,
for county
Yes.
purposes, but we can amend it. We
yes.
can revisit it.
I don't, and like I said, I have no problem with the court adopting it kind of as it is. But understand it needs some work,
Oh, a lot of.
Correct.
and And I think if you, at least one, you're looking at quarterly, and two,
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, because he-
I mean, so this is where we're at right now, we need to propose, we got a lot of
well,
work.
I know, I understand, the court has to have filed with the county and all that kind of
Yeah.
thing, so, but at least it's budget. You know, the final thing is that we need to obviously get ahead on the general fund enough to have, my guess is around 60K in at the end of next year, so we can get in the next year.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, we do need to have a reserve, that's 2 months, and that's, Aaron sent me some documents that's, it's state recommended,
Mhm.
so we need 2 months of reserves for
Well,
expenditures.
Actually,
So we need at least $60,000.
I remember this discussion
Yeah.
with Bonnie years ago.
Okay,
It's
it's been a long time.
Yes, the discussion was, it's because you don't get your taxes till April.
April
You
and
need,
October, yeah.
you need the 4 months covered.
Yeah.
And so.
Okay,
But we need an additional 2
all right.
months.
Anybody else for public comment? Or public hearing on the
Thank you.
budget? Thank you, Jeff.
Please come by. I have reason.
No.
You can help me.
Okay. So the public hearing for the budget is now closed. Where's my little here?
Oh, there we go.
Okay, and now we will open our regular meeting for December 4th. Where did my, there we go. So the first thing is, we would like to welcome Dee Coppola, and thank you very much for being here tonight. So Dee, would you mind coming up and coming right up here where Jeff was, and we would like to present to you the plaque of appreciation.
It's warmer up here.
I have too much paper here. It's going to have a little spiel here. Well, you're by the feet of my hand.
Right, there we go. That's a way to pass.
Well, Dee is Larry's wife, and we so much appreciate you coming here. But we, the commissioners and staff from the Port of Allyn would like to present this appreciation plaque to you and your family for what Larry has done.
He loved this job.
He did. And all the things that he accomplished for us.
He would have relished working on the budget.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, boy, I know.
So thank you
Thank you.
so much. And we love you, by the way. Thank you so much for all that you've done and your support. And yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Dee, very much. Give Bryce a big hug for all of us, and I can't thank you enough for what Larry and you have done for the Port of Allyn.
Yeah, Bryce would be here, but he's assistant coaching and the coach came down with COVID.
Oh, it seems like
thank
it
you.
seems like nature's way. So thank you very much, Dee.
Either by 10 to 5.
Oh, yeah.
Do that?
Just text me your address.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's 1:31 at night, I'll text it to you.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Our executive director for the Washington Public Works Association also submitted Larry for appreciation for all of the work that he'd done for the port industry as well. And so we'll probably be getting that Friday, the 8th.
Excuse me.
There?
I plan on attending that meeting
So I need to-
as long as my family lets me to go. But I hope you'll be down there in Vancouver for that meeting. So
Great.
Leanne, I'll talk to you tomorrow with
Okay.
everything going on. So yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Ted.
I'll notice it one way or the other, so.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Ted, on our agenda is the oath of office for Commissioner Jackson. So you are officially Commissioner again. So I think they sent you a document already, or I don't know if we.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I
And
talked to elections, yeah, and they said they sent it directly to you.
they did. And I did receive that. Commissioner, can we move that to January? I don't need public swearing in. One of the other two commissioners just swear me in. Uh, and so, yeah, we just have to sign some documents and we'll get it back in.
Okay,
All right.
great. Is somebody are they trying to get in? I heard a little bit.
Sean.
Well, I heard that too.
I'll come back in.
What was that, Phil?
Yeah, fill in the corner.
Oh, there we go. He's back.
So if we could just move that to the January
Okay.
meeting, I'd appreciate it.
That's excellent.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we come to the consent agenda items for the regular meeting minutes, special meeting minutes that we've had. 13, 20, 27, 29, and November 6th as well. Do I hear a motion to?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes November 6th of this last year, the special meeting minutes of this last year, November 13th, special meeting minutes of November 20th, special meeting minutes of November 27th, and again November 29th to approve these meeting minutes.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, action items, payroll vouchers, general fund vouchers and water fund vouchers, and the approval of the use of the digital signatures. Do I hear a motion?
I'll go ahead. Can we do these all at the same time?
Yes,
Okay.
you do. Just list
Okay, got
all the amounts.
I got it.
Mhm.
So I make a motion to approve the payroll vouchers for $26,155.59. The general fund voucher for $44,394.16, and the water fund voucher for $16,499.54.
And D.
And D, approve the digital signatures with that motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I
So moved. Commissioner reports.
Well, Commissioner Jackson, I'll go ahead and start, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So, those very meetings I just mentioned that we just approved for the meeting minutes, I've attended all those meetings in November. It was quite a busy month for us. Really, and dealing with matters at hand that we need so much to be dealing with. So it was a productive month, and I'm happy to be here to say that I was part of every one of those meetings in November, and that's my report.
Okay. Commissioner Jackson?
Yeah, I attended a bunch of meetings, and I do have something that's probably Judy Scott's legacy is that Commissioner Scott's legacy is that PTO asked me to be the secretary of the board, and so I attended all their meetings, attended all our meetings, and I apologize again for not being sitting next to you tonight. So I do believe as a board we need to cap our time, and so maybe next year we could do a resolution and just cap our time. So I do attend. I do plan on attending every meeting I can be, because some of these things are great meetings. And Judy, with Thera Black, she's a wonderful person, and she tries to get things done.
She's excellent. Yeah.
She is excellent.
And it's important that you're on that board. It may not seem like you do much, but being present for that is really critical for this whole, port.
I think they do a lot for our little community, and it's been a pleasure and it's been an honor to be on that board. So
thank you. Well, I course, attended all those meetings that we had. It was a lot of work. Thank you to the Carries for working so hard with us. We got it done.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I attended the EDC meeting on November 9th. And the other thing is that I met with, let's see, the Oyster House meeting with Sean. That was also on the 13th. Let's see, where did the other one go? Maybe it was last month, but I met with Bonnie and Bill Dewey. I think it was last month. Yeah, and Bonnie had kind of given me a little update, I think, emailed everybody in regard to the Oyster House, that there's some funding out there. I guess there's more funding actually for the Oyster House, you know, so that's a really good deal through the county. And she's been, and then also we got some money from a, Olympia Oyster, I think it's Olympia or Olympic Oyster. I can't remember what the company, who it was now, but they were doing mitigation. And so they made a large donation to the North Bay Historical Society to finish the Oyster House or help with the Oyster House. So we have extra funding.
Good.
That's my update on that.
Commissioner, can I give a huge shout out? I know Leanne, but I just want to give a huge shout out to Zin. She's a wonderful person in our community, and I just want to give a huge shout out to Zin. She passed away last week, but she was a wonderful person to our community, and so I just want to give a shout out to Zin.
Yeah, and condolences to her family. Okay, Travis, you would join us?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sorry, Travis.
Easy to be forgotten when you're not in view.
I apologize.
It's all good.
Yeah.
All right, I got lots to say, but I'll try to keep it short. We've had a little bit of a meeting that's gone long so far.
Yeah.
So I'll start with security issues. Of course, we still have dumping at our bin location pretty much weekly. Thankfully, the fine folks that pick up all those donations pick up all of the garbage. So it doesn't, but it continues to just be an eyesore and just look horrible throughout the course of the week. The book bin has got the lock cut again. Seems like about every time they replace the lock, 2-3 days later, the lock gets cut again. So we'll have to wait until they come back, and I think I'm going to try to find out how to contact them and see if we can find a better solution than that, because the book bin, literally the door gets ajar and the books all fall out, and you saw how bad it was today. Those books are ruined if that door's open. So we also had that's a possibility. We've talked about possibility. We did have someone abandon a vehicle on property, but it was in the daylight hours when we were able to observe it. So we were able to talk to the individual, let them know it wasn't okay, and that they needed to have that outside the gates before dark or it would be towed, and they followed our accordance. So that vehicle ended up getting parked outside the gate that night, and it was gone by the next morning. So that did not become an issue.
Good job.
Thank Leanne for that one. She caught it sputtering in, and it was definitely dead on arrival.
Okay. Thank you, Leanne.
Other than that, no real issues security wise throughout the park. Everybody leaves when I ask them to. Nobody was found. Well, I did find one person in the bathroom at night, but it was one of our local vagrants. They don't give any guff. They just leave. So I'll move to the administrative side. On November 22nd, we did have the derelict vessel removed permanently by Linden Salvage. Of course, I believe there was a bill that we have to pay on the agenda here. But I do have all of our paperwork for reimbursement ready to go. As soon as you have that bill paid, I can
So we
But-
get 100%.
It's 100% reimbursement plus we
Even
get, plus our office hours and Donnie's maintenance hours.
Yes.
And so I've been documenting that. So far, looks like it's about 12 to 14 hours with extra time,
Okay,
plus the time of having it removed.
that includes the amount of time you've put into.
Yes,
the entire
including me filling out the
Absolutely.
paperwork.
I mean, even dealing with. it.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, cool.
Yep. Allyn dock repairs. I did get a chance to talk to Karen with Endurus, and it looks like there won't be any ability to get any more than the offered $48,600. Thankfully, after going through and having several more electrical bids done, though, it's going to cost us less than that to get it repaired. So, it should include our ability to take care of protecting them as well. So we'll see how that actually pans out. It looks promising, but we still got to have the rest of those bids come in before we can totally nail down and bring it before you guys to see what
He's
we want to
worked
do.
really hard on getting bids.
I'm curious also what it looks like with how they're gonna go about doing it. You know?
Then there's the issue of the actual damage to the dock here in Allyn. The damage that has occurred there is, according to the bid by AWS, or not AWS, AUS, yeah, I like to say AWS, but that's underwater, Associated Underwater Services, and they were the ones that did the insurance part of the bid. So that's why all those numbers are based off of their looking at the work. They deemed that the structure wasn't repairable. Okay, that the floats need to be fully replaced. And because of that, that's why we're not getting any more insurance money. They don't say that the sea lions did that damage. They say that that's where the tear.
And when we did the work before, it was all a kind of just the cover. They didn't rebuild the.
Yeah, so the main line trunk of the Allyn Pier is a rebuilt, not rebuilt, but replaced floats. The main finger that goes off was not replaced. That's an original old float.
Yeah.
And that's why it's in such disarray. So, but good news is that it's not a safety problem. It's still floating. It's still attached to the pier is fine. There's no reason to say that replacing that it's not gonna be any safer. So it's something that we can wait on because we do plan on replacing the entire thing. Things go well with grants and such. So perhaps not put our money in that direction because really we don't have it. Then we have some North Shore preventative measures to talk about. Last year did you see the pictures of the king tide and how it damaged the dock?
Yes.
Well,
I went out there.
Well, we've had our first king tide of the year. We've got 2 more coming. And if we get the wrong weather pattern coming in with that, well, then we're with the same tides, we're going to have the same problem. The reason that occurred is that the piers are not tall enough.
They're not. Exactly.
So during the course of this month, I suggest I spend a little bit of time contacting some of our construction contractors and find out a few options for extending those.
Right.
Because that would be the one place we should be spending money in order to protect the investment we have that's in good shape, because the North Shore dock isn't in that shape.
I don't see why we can't have the sleeve that goes.
Right, a sleeve is one thing. Another thing is even a steel bracketing 4 corners, come up with a welding. Just depends on, talking to a few of the companies, and there's not many of them to do it. We do have one local source, and we have one in Tacoma, and we have another one, I think, up in Bainbridge. But
good idea.
We'll talk. I haven't contacted them on that because it's just something we've been talking about in the office just recently in the last week. After, coming to the conclusion that the Allyn side shouldn't have any money thrown towards it, except for replacing our electrical stanchions and protecting them from future sea lion.
Sure.
I think that covers most of the protective cage fabrication. We've got a 3rd bid we're waiting on from Rogue. But we have 2 bids in, and we do have a few other lines I've put out there, but I haven't had any returns on those yet. And then security cameras and ticketing booklets, I've just kind of put on the back burner because I spent so much other time on things. And I still have a few tickets left in my ticket booklet. It'll get solved here soon. Yeah. Other than that, that is about the gist of it for me.
And I know Ted wants.
Yeah, copies of that
Yeah.
certificates when I get them done.
he'll
I'm in
double check.
agreement with the priorities here.
Yeah, it's
It's
great.
a really good
Really well
focus.
done. Yeah.
Yep.
He's done wonderful.
Yeah.
Any questions for me, Ted?
No, I don't. Thanks, Travis, for all your hard work. I asked the other two commissioners, and I brought it up to Capola years ago, is that the Port of Allyn can actually dredge. And I don't know if dredging at the North Bay Marina would help us out with the king tide, but maybe we could put our heads together and think about it over the next couple of years and think about dredging there.
There are some low tides that definitely affect whether boaters are coming or not.
Yeah, I know when I
No,
launch
here.
launch my boat, I would like it a little bit lower, but maybe it's because I can't put the plug in once in a while. So maybe we could talk about that in the next few years. So
Excellent. Great. Thank you, Travis.
All right, thank you.
thank you, Travis. Very good.
Excellent. Old business. Oh, executive director report.
Well, yeah, I can fill you in. We got the purchase and sale agreement for the well. And so what I've been doing is working with the county and ARPA funds, DOH and Department of Commerce. So I've been really, that's where my head's been, is on getting everything funded. And about parallel to that, Sergeant Oyster House, because Lena at Department of Commerce, she's handling all. We have 5 contracts with them, so she's really helping out. But we're to the point where we need to mobilize with the Oyster House.
In regard to
Moving it down.
Oh, okay.
So I need to call Nickel Brothers and see what their time frame is, but we have to have somewhere to put it. So I think that's a conversation with Sean, with Gio, yeah, and Art Anderson's. So we have to get that
done.
built. Yeah, we have to have, yeah. So that's where I'm at. And I'm not really focusing on much other than that. Ken, sorry, he's having surgery, but his big thing is Sweetwater Park. And I said, you know what? It's on the back burner for now. We're not spending any money on it. We're focusing on 1 or 2 things at a time, and we're going to get things done.
I appreciate your comments, but we have to prioritize and all of the things we seriously.
The other biggest thing is we have to rebuild that pier. And that's going to be millions of dollars. So I don't think letting the lobbyists go 100% is good. Maybe just saying, hey, you have 1 project on your plate. And they still haven't gotten me anything. They were going to get me some different proposals for us.
But you've had that conversation.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really the only thing we're going to need them for. And we know Mr. Griffey has offered to do whatever he can to help with the pier. So I don't know if we're going to have to do an emergency repair of that 1 part. So that whole part of the pier doesn't just fall in the water, because that's pretty pressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
If we lose that footprint, we'll never get it back.
There's that.
So with 1 pier missing, we can repair that pier and get approval to do that. But if we lose that section of the dock and it goes down, they're going to say, well, when you replace the pier again, you can't put that section back in.
That's absolutely true. So that should be our focus on that as far as
that is a very important thing to get that to a level where we know that it won't disappear.
Yes, it's no longer a rebuild.
No, there's an emergency repair that's needed.
But it has an expiration date. It has a window and then it goes away. I do know that.
What is that?
No,
I mean, what is?
I don't know exactly what it is. I just remember there being one.
We need to look into that. Okay, all right, Ian, thank you.
Anything else?
No.
For right now?
No.
Okay. Anything for old business? You pretty much covered old business.
Right?
Yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
working on the purchase and sale agreement and in the
The
budget
budget.
pretty much, so
Yeah.
that's been our focus and. You know, so,
Trying to beat deadlines,
yeah,
that came up really quick.
Yeah. well, and just trying to.
Oh,
think
so
through-
we have the levy, the 1% levy.
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Yeah, because we, on our new items, we have the proposed draft budget. Which we could entertain an approval for
Yeah.
that. So let's deal with that one, the proposed draft budget as submitted. I appreciate Jeff, you know, your comments and Ken's. But you know, budget is meant to be worked with too, so do I hear a motion to approve?
If there's no further discussion, I'm prepared to make a motion, Commissioner Jackson.
Yes,
Okay, I propose that we go ahead and accept. I make a motion that we accept proposed draft budget for 2024 as we have it right now. With the clear understanding we've got a lot of work to do on it, but we have something to work with. It's organic.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Ooh. Okay, the levy certification, the 1% tax levy. I don't have that resolution in front of me. Do you have it?
It's 2023-008 is the number.
I never got it.
Oh, do you?
I,
Okay, well, let me see what I can find.
if I could, yeah, if I can get it, I'll read the resolution. No, wait a minute. No, no.
No. I just know the number.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
It's 2023-1204. Is that correct, Leanne?
no, 008.
008. Okay.
Yep.
I don't have it yet.
Well, and I don't really wanna
No,
wing
we-
it
yeah,
on the
no,
verbiage
no.
because it's a resolution,
I
so.
propose we move it to January.
Yeah.
Don't we need to have this before January?
Yeah, they're already working with us. It was
Right.
due last week, so
Oh,
they're already working with us. Because of,
Well, let's wait
I'm
until you
looking
find it.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'll tell you what though, if you can work on that and then we
I
can
can-
work on nominations for the committees and the meetings and the
perfect.
chair and vice chair and
That works.
secretary. So, one of the things that we do decide on is the trustee for Washington Public Courts Association. Right now I'm the trustee. Means you just have to show up to one of them, you know, I think one of the main ones for decisions. But who else would like to do that? Anybody else would prefer to be a trustee?
Commissioner Scott, you've been part of the WPPA for a lot of years. I nominate you to continue in your role. Like I said, you've been part of the WPPA and they respect you. And I think you carry on the Port of Allyn better than anybody else. So I would nominate you.
No, I'll accept. Go with the flow.
Okay, oh, you want to do
I
that
will
though?
accept, yes,
Okay,
I will,
then I'll second that.
okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I guess I do. Okay. And we also decide on what meetings we're going to attend. Now, this might be a little lengthy because we don't have a calendar in front of us, so. Well, actually, you're gonna be probably appointed to the PRT, you know, Peninsula Regional Transportation Organization. Ted, if you would consider continuing, would you consider continuing?
Yes, please. I think that's something that you've been part of. Now I'm getting part of it. It's something I'd like to continue on with. I think there's wonderful people on that board, and I think we're doing some good work. So I love to write grants, and there's some grant writing opportunities on that board that I think would benefit North Mason County.
Excellent.
Found
And, John, you're still on the MTA. Yeah.
Mason Transit
So
Authority.
you want to continue with
Oh,
that?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll continue with EDC. So why don't we just continue on with those designated meetings that we will regularly attend? Does that sound okay?
That sounds perfect. Thank you very much. And Mason Transit, John, if you ever get a chance to thank Amy Asher, she's one heck of a person. So,
I never miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
I missed my
She's-
first meeting this last month, and yeah, no, she's remarkable.
yeah, she is. I get blessed to work in her building every day. So
That's great. Okay, so we got that down. Chair, vice chair, and secretary.
I'll take the secretary position. I think we rotate every year. So I'll take the secretary as long as Jeff Carey or Travis doesn't sit in my chair anymore. I'm more than happy. So,
I'm gonna sit in it one more time. I
It's a
think.
little warmer than it used to be now. But okay, so
Oh,
I know my limit with some other stuff going on, so I just should remain the vice chair. That's what we gave me to do.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll just keep it the way
Yeah,
that it is. right
I'm
now.
looking forward to actually stepping in there at some point in the future.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know.
so we'll just keep the current office positions right now. I'll be chair, your vice chair, and Ted, your secretary. Does that sound acceptable?
yes, and I'll make a motion that Commissioner Scott is chair, Commissioner Sheridan is vice chair, and Ted Jackson is secretary.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
I second that.
okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, so moved.
And you should be thanking Leanne for doing your minutes.
I just found the levy certification, okay? I
Yeah.
just sent it to you so far.
Okay.
I haven't sent it to everybody. Hold on.
I know.
Okay. I found it.
Okay. So I can,
It's for $3,120.94.
would you like to make the motion? Or do you want to? Because I have it in front of me, Ted, so he can do
I
the.
I'm
haven't.
sending it right now.
Okay, I'm on the computer. I'll just.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So it's pretty straightforward, but when you get a chance to look at it, let me know.
Okay, it's North Mason County, it's down cable, so.
So do you want?
Has
John,
everybody else
yeah.
received it? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. If I sent you the right thing, hold on.
Well, this is the
mean, I can read
resolution.
Yeah, that is
It's
it.
the Department of.
I
Okay,
think I sent Ted. the
Yeah,
wrong-
what I received
Hold
was
on,
the,
Ted. I
Okay.
got it. No, okay. There you
Lance, there you go.
go. Okay.
You're doing good, Leanne.
Oh, yeah. Flying by the seat of my pants.
okay, so resolution number 2023-008, whereas the Port of Allyn has met and considered its budget for the calendar year of 2024, and whereas the district actual levy amount from the previous year was $312,000 and 093.56, and whereas the population of the district is less than 10,000, and now therefore be resolved by the governing body of the taxing district that the increase in the regular property tax levy is hereby authorized for the levy collected in 2004. The dollar amount of the increase over the actual levy amount for the previous year shall be 301 $3,120.94, which is a percentage increase of 1% from the previous year. This increase is inclusive of additional revenue resulting from new construction, improvements to property, newly constructed wind, gosh darn it, wind turbines, solar biomass, and geo facility.
You're reading it
And
right.
and any increase in the value of the state assessed property, any annexations that have occurred and refunds made, adopted the 20th day of November. Commissioner Scott, Commissioner Sherman, Commissioner Jackson. So
Do we have to change that to December 4th if we have to have that retroactive?
yeah, I think
No, we can change it to December 4th. They're working with me.
Okay,
So, yeah.
so we'll change that adopted December 4th, 2023. Do I hear?
and I will make a motion to adopt this, and two, that we do electronic signatures on this.
Thank you.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right,
You almost jumped the gun.
I
You almost jumped the gun.
did.
Yeah.
Get excited. Okay, excellent. Now I believe that we are at public comment.
I got one little thing I missed in my report. If I
Okay,
could quickly do that. Be my public comment time too.
Over the weekend on the second, the last derelict vessel on the North Shore that was anchored offshore, beached.
uh-oh,
Uh-oh.
okay,
It did not beach on our property.
oh. Oh, sorry.
I made contact with Jerry Farmer at the DNR and showed him the pictures, and he's like, yeah, that one was reported derelict like 6 months ago, and now I'm seeing it again.
Oh, really?
Wow.
So
So,
no, it was a situation where the owner had got the boat, got the notice, moved the boat, and then brought it out here.
Okay.
And it didn't end up on our property in any way. It is in front of 151 Sunstrom Road, right in front of the house.
oh,
And the neighbor across the street is on Sunstrom, not on the water side. She saw me taking pictures of it, so she talked to me and was like, yeah, I wouldn't. I told the DNR about it and everything, and I can't get a hold of the owners. I thought it was gonna hit their house. And, okay, well, I took her information just so that I had it and gave her my number. So either way, it's not our problem.
Not yet,
But
unless the hole's been compromised.
the only way it would become our problem is a big high tide comes up and a nice north wind blows in our direction.
Right.
So pretty rare for that to occur.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like DNR is going to do anything about it. It's just going to sit there. It's on a private beach. So
Travis, how big of a boat is it?
it's probably 26 foot.
hmm.
Pretty good. It's bigger than the one we just had removed. I thought that maybe tomorrow I could do a little bit of time and see if I could contact the owner, because it looks like it's a summer house. It's not, they're not there now. I know my father knew the previous owner, but
Is it a sailboat or a powerboat? I'm sorry, maybe you didn't hear me. Is it a sailboat or a powerboat? Well, I guess I froze. Uh, sailboat or powerboat? Dale, Phil, can you hear me? Okay. I guess I froze.
Ted, I can hear you.
Thanks, Phil. I want to
I
ask
don't-
any questions. So no, Dale's now the host. I'm going to log off and try to jump back on.
Okay.
Be good.
Well, we've got one member, we got Phil, okay. I think we're okay still. Sorry.
We
We
don't have
lost
Ted.
power.
Great.
You need to call Ted.
Oh, yeah. we have
Yeah,
Ted.
Ted's, yeah, so it's just Ted and I for a while. Seeing Ted said he was gonna log off and try to log back in.
Okay,
So I don't know.
we'll wait for Ted and then we can do public comment.
So was it the plug?
It was.
But I thought it was, that's why I changed it, but then when I did put the new one in there.
Yeah, the battery's at absolute zero.
It's the same plug,
I know.
Must be bad cord, so.
Bad
get rid of
cord.
that cord.
bad juju.
Could be bad inverter.
Yeah.
The inverter.
Sometimes the connection point on the
Can you call
computer,
Ted?
if it's not
I
the right
was
spot, it
just
won't start.
gonna text him.
Okay,
I don't have my phone.
oh, okay.
Oh, I have mine,
Okay,
but
So Dave,
no.
can you get
can't
a
call
hold of
mine.
Ted?
I can call him on,
Okay,
thank you.
technically that's allowed.
good, thank you, Travis.
Yeah,
Just wanna make sure.
I've never done that before. I don't know why that was thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna log off here, just to let you know. I don't have anything at the moment, so
Well, thank you, Phil.
you bet. Okay.
There he is.
No, he's back, okay. I'll stop him.
There we go.
Yay.
Welcome back, Commissioner Jackson, I think.
Are you there?
Yeah, we can't hear you. You're muted.
You have unmuted or?
There, he just unmuted.
Ah, there he is. Hi,
Right.
Tiffany.
I
Sorry.
was asking Travis how big, how large the boat was. That was the only question I had, and I think he said it was 26 or 27 foot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
approximately 26 feet.
Well, I think with that being said, now we can go to public comment. So, Jeff, you've had your hand raised. Would you like to go ahead?
Somebody else first, so I don't.
Dale, do you have anything you want to share? No? Okay. I don't think so.
Okay. Excuse me. Take off from where we left off.
Okay.
Kind of. One is on the issue of the water system, port's water system. I'll work with Ben to work the schedule for it, but I'm thinking sometime this month we're gonna at least need one meeting
Yes.
because there's gonna be stuff from your attorney and stuff from my attorney that I'm fulfilling to the purchase. That's one thing. Second thing is we really do need to assess, look at the policies and get on track with things there. I worked with Leanne a little bit, looking at some things. We chased down a few things. But for example, we really need to straighten out, I say straighten out, we have a policy, but it doesn't elaborate the particulars of it. In other words, like for commercial connections, you're fine as far as small shops and what have you. But to my way of looking at it from a water purveyor, looking at other systems and how they bill, my opinion is, even though Larry Capola knew what he knew at the time, it's not he did anything wrong, it's just that there should have been somebody overseeing it, because it looks like to me there's about and I don't want this to be construed that we need to go back after this, but it looks like to me we'd have $75,000 on the table. Going forward, you don't have rate structures depending on the size of line going into the memory care. And I'm assuming based on being 50 beds, it's no way going to be like a residential connection. If you look at other purveyors, they have the rate structures, we can go into that, but I don't have to go on it to now, but we need to address that. There's also a policy, believe it or not, in the plan, and I can't believe the state of Washington let it go through, that that absolves the port of responsibility of providing water for fire flow, in essence. Yeah, I know, that's what, okay,
Okay,
we need to address that one. Two, because the port's gonna pick up this, assuming the memory care goes forward, it has different requirements than typically residential, what have you. Like the issue we had where the pump went out, not knowing, and then knowing at a point, that would be not good situation for the memory care. So I don't know what that all means, but whether that means we need to do some checking backups or whatever, but all these are different costs. And these are things that weren't really appear, we don't know yet, we haven't looked far enough. They have not really been addressed for that organization. And I'm not here to try to say, you know, we need to get back things from, you know, memory care, you know, from the Jamerson's family or anything. I'm just saying that because we didn't have certain things, didn't have different checks and balances, looking at things, there's funds we should have probably got, because I think it's, I'll give you an example. If you have 50 beds, just pretend for a moment you're talking 3-bedroom houses, just at the simplest level, because that's literally what that's like. So if you divide a 3-bedroom house into 50 beds, you got about 16 times. That's about the different things. And if you remember, the hotel, when they had the connection going with the county, was this like 14 or 15, if I recall.
right,
So it's, and you remember that had like 49.
right.
So what I'm saying is there's some things we need to address fairly, you know, it's not urgent, but it needs to be addressed this year. And this meeting, and also that I'm requesting, you know, more to address the, you know, the things here with the water system. I'm outlining with the developer the issues of what they're going to need, extension and boosters and things like this. And we'll try to present some, at least a draft of what kind of examples important we would consider.
Okay, well, we do need another meeting, so we should probably schedule one soon.
Yeah.
I did get a hold of Ryan from Northwest Water, and, you know, she gave me the proper documents to get going on the inspection and stuff like that.
One last thing. There needs to be a proactive meeting with your developers.
Yeah.
Because I'll give you an case. The way it's budgeted right now, you're 7.5 connections coming on board, okay?
Yeah.
Realistically, for sure, what's in the pipeline are probably closer to, for sure, 6.
Do it again, now.
What's in the pipeline right now would be around 6.
Okay.
You budgeted for 7.5. That's fine. I'm not saying you need to correct that or anything, but here's the problem that Cedar Island Homes is looking to get some financing to put in 20 more homes.
Okay, yeah.
That would grossly change how those numbers are. I'm not saying put that number in.
Right.
I'm saying a couple things. One, that we need to be in front of the developers. But then the other side is, where are we going from here? In other words, he's got debts. And if in my opinion, if I was running the program, I'd say, hey, bring these current before you start these.
Absolutely, I mean, that just should be a policy.
I understand, but I'm just saying it got started the wrong path with him. And you remember my discussion in our other meetings about that, so I want to.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
that
have to
should be-
pay, Northwest Water Systems has been having people pay the hookup fees first.
Right.
Before they get water out.
But he needs to,
Yes, he-
know, no, but I'm saying he needs to know that
Yeah.
overt in front of, because in his mind, it's the way it was.
Sure, so it's Cedarland Kids at Housing, and,
No, there's Cedar Island Homes,
yeah,
kids have housing's fine, I mean.
oh, okay,
You're fine then.
Right.
and what about Rick?
Red Door's fine at this point.
Okay,
The other one is you need to probably get in front of Jamerson family and talk about what the requirements you're really gonna need.
yeah, okay,
Because I don't see anywhere in these specs that say you're going to 2-inch feet a meter or you're going to 1.5 inch meter. And part of that's also, you know, the sprinkled or not.
yeah, I
There's
know.
all these.
I'm sure that will need sprinklers, so
Right.
that's a few big, yeah, I understand.
And so that's why I make the general
Yeah.
statement that there's this amount that was left on the table that, because. Yeah, you adopted, he followed what the board passed, okay, so there's no question there.
Right.
But, I never thought about, what the size of the project you'd be bringing in.
Yeah.
Well, with 50 and sprinkling and all that,
Yeah.
that's a different, project.
Right.
Anyway,
All right,
sorry.
Well, that's everything.
thank you.
No, that's really good. Thank you.
Should that be in the back session?
I, no, personally, I have no problem with it being public.
Because we're pretty much.
Oh, for sure.
It won't, that won't be price. I mean, it might be prices you're gonna charge, but then I'll be hearing and.
Well, yeah, eventually, it'll be public, like, wow, I just wasn't sure, okay, well, that's cool.
Okay, anybody else?
That's our road map.
Barry, nothing? Okay, all right.
Everyone wants to get out of here.
Yeah, I think they do.
It's late.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything for the good of the order. Anybody else? have anything?
Commissioners and Leanne, I'll probably be out of town for the next month. So I'll be doing Zoom meetings. I'm hopefully will be at the January meeting in person. I'm getting tired of Travis and Jeff sitting in my chair, but
Okay.
that's but I think I'm tired of Leanne sitting in my chair, but I think you all know what my wife and I are going through. So it's, and what Leanne's going through, it's not fun. So, but we're juggling a whole bunch of things on our plate, and I will be there in January. So I can't thank you enough, and have a Merry Christmas, all of you. And
You too.
Thank you.
I'm praying for your family and everybody, and Merry Christmas too. And thank you. We'll probably see you sooner than next year, but the rest maybe.
Were we gonna set a special meeting
We probably should.
for next week or? We don't wanna get too close to Christmas, but
No.
All right, well, we also have to.
Oh,
How are we gonna come up with a date without coordinating with
For what? Today's the 4th.
all right.
so anytime between the 11th and the 15th,
How about the 11th?
next Monday?
Yeah. And then no more after that for a while.
Yes.
What time?
Is afternoon okay for you?
1 o'clock seems to be working okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ted, would 11 on December 11th at 1 o'clock be okay for you?
that I'll make it work.
Okay,
So what time?
1 o'clock,
On Monday,
Monday?
next Monday.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Okay.
We had an appointment at 2, but we can delay it a little bit, so.
okay, that sounds great. Okay, 1 o'clock, court meeting,
That's gonna be with that.
and the topic will be hammering out more water issues and policies and budgets. I can't remember everything.
Well, but basically, it'll be your budgets, your policies.
The policy, we probably better wait on the budget. Cause let's work on the water, that's
That's fine.
really critical right now,
The
let's just
policies.
work on the people.
Policies and the line extension.
Yeah.
Extension.
The
Okay.
line extension is what you were talking about, yeah.
Okay,
But, I'm ready to discuss any one of the above.
okay,
I know you are.
all right, I think that's it then, thank you, Dee, for taking the time to come here, and we
Thank
appreciate
you
it,
very much.
yeah.
He would have been on.
Yeah.
Dee,
Well,
if there's something that I get to pick up next week, I'll make sure it gets to your family.
Okay, I think, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank
Aye.
you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.